I do have you beat him.
I will whoop your ass.
Bro, I'll pop that gap right back in that mouth. I'll have you looking like a saber gap tooth tiger. Oh my God, I'll do you dirty. Bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro.
You suck.
Hey, you lost. Oh my, here we go.
I don't care.
Not the same fighter. Hey, not the same fighter. Not the same. Hey, when I put a beat on you, what are you gonna say? When I put a beat on you, what are you gonna say?
I was there.
Hey, no, when I put a beat on you. I'm talking about you. You got no power. You got no power.
And you lost. And you still scared him to this day.
No, you. Bro, I'm gonna knock that gap right back in your mouth. I'm gonna knock that gap into your mouth again. Hey, you fixed the teeth. You fixed the teeth, but I'm gonna knock that right back in.
It's your dream.
Bam, bam.
It's Shakur's time right now.
Yeah, let's do it. Hey. Like back in the days, right?
It's the biggest fight right here.
No, I thought you was bigger than this,
bro. You know I'm not big. Wait, why do you think I was big?
God, oh man.
Wait, good luck. Thank you, bro.
Shakur Stevenson didn't even wait for the dust to settle before jumping on a live interview and firing a cold warning straight at Ryan Garcia.
You know who I want. He's right there. Shakur Stevenson. Let's go. Let's run that. Hey, I want to be a great champion, and I'm not scared of. I fought Devin Haney. I'll fight Shakur Stevenson. I'll fight anybody. Let's go.
You know, Shakur Stevenson, Ryan. Shakur Stevenson was on our DAZN broadcast earlier, said he's levels above you right now. What do you think of that?
The thing is, like, you got to have some type of punching power to get me off you, because it'll be a different style, and I'm not going to hit him light. Nah. Every time I get, I'm putting it on him, you know? I want that fight. Shakur, let's get it. I see you. Hey, I like the hat. You look fly, but I want that work. Let's get it.
Congratulations.
Basically saying calm voice, sharp eyes, that if Ryan really wants that fight next, he's not just getting outboxed, he's getting knocked out in brutal fashion.
How do you see Shakur versus Ryan?
I think he wiped the floor with him. You know, I don't think Ryan gonna be able to hit Shakur like Barrios. Barrios was right there to be hit. Barrios was too slow. Barrios didn't have no game plan. He followed them the whole fight. And Shakur is not going to be that fighter in there to be hit on. It's just simple.
And the scary part is, he said it like a man who already visualized the outcome. No theatrics, no yelling, just that composed assassin energy, which honestly hits harder than loud trash talk.
What can we expect from a fight?
We're very fast. You're going to see people that are quick, back and forth. And Shakur knows that he can't get lazy with me at all. That's why, like, he was looking at me right now and goes, ooh, you're not even big. I'm like, bro, you were scared if I was big? That's crazy. Like, that's what you were scared of? All right. So I got a little glimpse on what he was kind of worried about. But size don't win fights at all. You seen that today. Mario was bigger than me, but I was quicker.
Meanwhile, right after the win over Mario Barrios, Ryan didn't celebrate like a man satisfied. He grabbed the mic with that adrenaline still buzzing and immediately called out Shakur, talking about taking the so-called savant aura and proving speed beats slickness when the lights are brightest.
What happens in the Shakur fight? How does it end in your opinion? Decision, knockout?
We hit him with a body shot, he's done.
Why the body shot?
He can't take his body shot. We already know.
Really?
Yeah, and he doesn't have a better jab than my son. My son has an awesome jab. We beat him in the amateurs, okay, with the jabs. When Ryan was young, Ryan was only 16 years old, but he qualified 17, 18 with Shakur. Shakur was on that level. So if you're within 2 years, they're gonna put you in that category, okay? And I said, Ryan, we didn't know Shakur, they didn't know us. But I said, you know what, Ryan, let's work on that jab. Ryan was throwing that beautiful jab, pop, pop, pop. I said, okay, that's what we're gonna work on. Let's start off there.
That contrast is cinematic. Shakur speaking like a surgeon predicting damage, Ryan speaking like a storm demanding the biggest challenge available.
Oh, I'm open to all those, you know, whatever. You know, Shakur, somebody that I fought in the amateurs, and we went at it, you know, and I felt like I beat him. But, you know, the politics in the USA boxing at that time were a little different, and I still got a chip on my shoulder. I've been wanting that rematch for a minute. Hopefully we get it, and, you know, when my hand heals, I'll be looking for that opportunity for sure.
One promises precision punishment, the other promises explosive chaos. And if that exchange turns real, we're not just talking about a fight anymore. We're talking about a style collision loaded with ego, skill, and pure psychological warfare.
Oscar, apologies if you've already been asked about these two opponents, but what do you think a fight with Shakur Stevenson looks like? They talked about fighting each other next. What do you think that fight would look like?
I love the fight. I mean, look, there's so many options there for Ryan now. Everybody wants to fight him. Everybody wants to dethrone the pretty boy, you know? And now that he has a world title, everybody's after him. So yeah, I think it's a matter of just regrouping, let Ryan rest, and he'll make his decision once he's ready.
That looming Shakur warning about future smoke suddenly gets drowned out by pure father-trainer emotion the moment Henry Garcia grabs the spotlight, because this wasn't a calm victory lap energy at all. This was years of frustration, criticism, doubt, and redemption, all talking at once through one microphone. The instant Henry shuts down the VIDA rumor talk and calls the stories fabricated, I'm already reading that as protective mode activated, not just defending a fighter, but defending his son's credibility in real time.
But Ryan's been doing testing his entire career. He's fought for interim titles. When he fought Tank Davis, we were doing VADA testing and it wasn't for a title. He's been testing his entire career. Every single time we set up a fight, we sign a contract, there's VADA testing. There's no such thing as dropping out of VADA testing. So all those stories are just fabricated, people trying to hate on Ryan, and they're just excuses for Haney to feel good about himself. You know, Haney wants to have an excuse as to why he got beat up, and that's it. So it's all nonsense.
Then boom, the temperature spikes when he starts firing back at critics like Chris Algieri and others, and you can literally hear the emotional investment leaking through every sentence. Not polished PR talk, not media-safe answers, just raw parental pride mixed with competitive vindication. And honestly, when he says, "They don't know my son, I know my son," that line hits harder than any tactical breakdown, because that's identity talk, not boxing talk.
Just real quick, I want to go back to the haters, because I gotta let this off my chest, because I won't be able to sleep. But Chris Algieri, you're a piece of okay? My God. I'm sorry. You and your corny ass partner, okay? Not believing in my son. Sergio Mora, I ran into him and he said, "No, your son made me a believer, so I'm not gonna go too hard on him." Okay? Robert Garcia, weird, man. Oh, my son can't go over 6 rounds? Sorry, dude. They don't know my son. I know my son, okay? And every father should know their son like I do.
Meanwhile, Ryan's energy in the same moment is completely different, calmer, reflective, thanking the team, talking about diet discipline, conditioning, and how he used to just swing without thinking, which low-key confirms the whole new version of Ryan narrative they've been selling all camp. One side emotional fireworks, the other side structured gratitude. That contrast is fascinating. Henry is fighting the critics verbally, while Ryan is crediting the system that rebuilt him physically and mentally.
Oh, one thing. Well, let me say something real quick. I want to thank Golden Boy Promotions. I know people like to put us together as beef. I guess it sells, but, you know, I don't hold grudges, and I always want to keep positivity, and I just want to say thank you for all that you've done in my career, and I appreciate you.
Also, the subtle Golden Boy appreciation from Ryan right after the tension talk, that's strategic maturity peeking through the chaos, and when a fighter is celebrating growth and preparation instead of just the result. While the father is unloading years of defensive passion, it creates this layered post-fight atmosphere where victory feels less like an ending and more like a personal statement to everyone who doubted the process.
All right, let's go. Well, the answer to your question is, yeah, I know he did it for me, but I told him before, we had dinner last night, and I said, "You know what, Ryan?" I said, "I appreciate that." I said, "But you know what? You've already won for me."
That proud, emotionally charged father energy we just heard from Henry suddenly hands the mic to a completely different frequency when Joe Goossen starts speaking, because now the tone shifts from protective passion to calm, surgical honesty. And honestly, that contrast is fascinating to watch in real time. Goossen casually opening with humor about gummies sets a relaxed vibe, but the moment he says, "That's exactly how Ryan fights," I immediately clock that as veteran acceptance, not surprise, not excuses.
What's your question?
What were your thoughts on Ryan's performance?
Look, that's exactly how Ryan fights. That's exactly how I knew he was going to fight. We tried to prepare for it as best we could. I think, you know, aside from that knockdown in the first round and a few other shots Ryan landed, We blocked a lot of his shots. Ryan obviously outscored us.
Just a trainer acknowledging the stylistic reality they walked into. Then he admits they prepared for the speed, the feet, the trickiness, and still points out that Ryan outscored them. And that line hits harder than any dramatic headline because it's composed truth, not emotional spin. He even breaks down the inside tying up and foot movement like a coach replaying the chessboard in his head. And I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, that's a technical read disguised as politeness.
You know, he's tricky. He's great on his feet. He'll tie you up on the inside because that's not his favorite place to be. And then he'll move around and walk you into some shots, and if you stall out on him, he'll come and get you. You know, he's smart. He's smart, and he's fast, and he's fleet of foot. So he's got a lot going for him. He's champ of the world tonight.
But the subtle jab comes when he mentions the first-round knockdown and a few other shots, because that phrasing low-key tells you momentum moments mattered more than volume narratives. Then he pivots to size and weight drain for Barrios at 147, and you can hear the careful balance. Not making excuses, yet highlighting physiological reality like a seasoned strategist protecting his fighter's dignity. The coldest moment, though? When he says you don't really train Ryan, you collaborate with him. That is such a layered statement. Translation, Ryan is instinct-driven, self-styled, and unpredictable even to elite trainers. And when Goossen admits he was needling Ryan mid-fight just to get a reaction, that's veteran mind games, subtle psychological warfare, almost playful, but calculated. Still, he gives Ryan full credit, calls him champ, praises his speed and ring IQ, while showing genuine respect for Barrios' toughness and effort. No bitterness, no chaos. Just composed realism after a high-stakes fight. One camp emotional vindication, the other analytical acceptance. And honestly, that kind of brutally calm honesty from a veteran trainer says more about how dominant a performance felt than any loud post-fight rant ever could.
Look, Ryan, I've known Ryan for many years, and I got to tell you, Mario Barrios is a fine young man. I love the kid. He's really a wonderful, classy human being, Mario Barrios, and so is Ryan. We're all friends. It's a small community, the boxing community. So I'm happy for Ryan, and I'm sad for Mario Barrios. You know, he put a lot of work. Jonathan and I trained Mario, and we put it close to 3 months of a training camp with him, and it was serious, hard work. We were doing round after round of training. Now, I will tell you, and I don't make excuses for anybody, Mario, you saw how much bigger he is than Ryan. He had to make 147 pounds. I think it's going to be the last time he ever does that.
That calm, almost professor-level honesty from Goossen saying Ryan does what he wants to do suddenly snaps into a completely different cinematic gear, the moment Wade jumps in screaming domination. And I'm sitting here like, yeah, that analytical respect from the losing corner and this explosive breakdown are actually describing the same reality from two emotional angles colliding at once. Wade saying Ryan started the fight like the world was watching? Facts, because the way he stormed the center of the ring wasn't just aggression, it was psychological ownership. Like he clocked in early and never clocked out. Then he keeps hammering the jab to right hand sequence, and I'm nodding hard because that directly backs up the whole narrative shift. This was not left hook merchant Ryan. This was upgraded, calculated violence with setup layers. And when Wade points out that first right hand hurting Barrios instantly, that's the quiet turning point nobody can spin away. Momentum didn't gradually build, it detonated. I also find it interesting how he admits Barrios' toughness while still calling it a wash, because that matches Goossen's earlier tone of acceptance without excuses.
Turns out, Mario Barrios, one tough SOB. He was not going to get knocked out in the first round, and come to find out he wasn't going to get knocked out at all, but that was a tone setter for the fight. And it was like, from that moment on, Ryan had almost zero issue with Barrios, and Barrios had no answers for anything Ryan was doing. And again, I told you, go back and watch my video. Yes, the left hook was prevalent and it landed in this fight, and Ryan was devastating with it, but it would be the right hand. It would be the hand that everyone forgot that Ryan Garcia had, and one, to be fair, he hadn't shown had been as devastating as his lead hand for a very long time. That would be the difference maker in this fight.
But the spicy part? Wade saying boxing needed this Ryan. That's not just hype, that's industry psychology. A violent, dominant, locked-in Ryan reintroduces star power and unpredictability in one package. And let's be real, it sells narratives better than any safe performance ever could. Then he pivots to Shakur, watching closely, and suddenly the whole conversation shifts from celebration to danger, because now we're talking about speed and explosiveness versus surgical control. Wade questioning whether this version of Ryan could shock Shakur again? Bold take, risky take, entertaining take. Especially when he admits the right-hand evolution and sustained 12-round intensity, which low-key dismantles the old mentality issues storyline piece by piece. Still, here's the chaotic truth colliding in my head. Domination over Barrios proves world level, but Shakur is a different puzzle constantly, not a durability test, a thinking test. And if this newly disciplined, violent Ryan with a functioning jab and right hand shows up again?
And it was shocking to see Barrios dominated like that. Like, Barrios has been stopped, right? He's been beaten. There was no pillar-to-post beating that I've ever seen anyone put on Mario Barrios like Ryan Garcia did tonight. And again, the variety in the shots, upstairs, downstairs, the lead hook. He would frame with the jab, which is something I love when fighters do. He would 1-2-1 and frame with that lead hand. And then when Barrios got past the lead hand, bang, left hook, pivot out, right hand. It was like he had an answer for everything Barrios did. And no.
Oh, now that matchup stops being fantasy talk and starts looking like a genuine style collision the sport can't ignore. So when you zoom out from all the noise, the Shakur warning, the emotional Henry speeches, the calm Goossen honesty, and Wade's explosive breakdown, the real story isn't just that Ryan won, it's how the entire narrative ecosystem shifted in one night. One side was speaking with surgeon-like confidence about levels and knockouts. The other side answered with performance, discipline, and a version of Ryan that looked sharper, more calculated, and way more dangerous than the chaotic version critics kept labeling. You had a father defending legacy, a veteran trainer accepting reality with composure, analysts screaming domination, and a rival quietly circling like a shark already studying the tape. That's not just a post-fight atmosphere, that's the birth of the next mega storyline. Because now the conversation has evolved from, can Ryan stay focused, to, can this upgraded, violent, disciplined Ryan solve the most technical puzzle in boxing? And that right there is where things get cinematic. Power versus precision. Instinct versus control. Chaos versus calculation. If this trajectory continues, the Barrios fight won't be remembered as the climax, it'll be remembered as the ignition point of a much bigger collision waiting to happen at the elite level. Now the real question is simple but dangerous. Does Ryan's explosive evolution crack Shakur's surgical defense, or does Shakur's IQ completely neutralize that momentum? Drop your take in the comments, let's really talk about it. And yo, don't ever forget to like, share, and subscribe to Boxing Headquarters. See you in the next one.